We are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andre Kay and Urban Miaris. And our next guest is Mr. Wesley Stewart from Urban Surf for Kids. Welcome, Wesley.
Oh, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. So tell us, what is Urban Surf for Kids?
Urban Surf for Kids is a San Diego-based nonprofit, and what we do is provide water-based events for kids without parents, and surf camps, paddleboard camps, and what's really unique about what we do is the kids are required to provide community service. So what we're trying to do is provide a healthy outlet as well as plant that seed of giving back.
Wow. So that's great. So kids without parents. So that must come from a variety of family circumstance.
It can. There are over 5,000 youth in San Diego County alone that are in foster care.
Okay.
And that can be a group home. They can be with foster parents. It can be a variety of different circumstances.
Well, we've had a number of other nonprofits on the show that focus on things with kids. So I'm going to take a little shift in our interview process here, and I want you to tell our listeners, how do they find out more about Urban Surf for Kids? Website or how do we do it?
Sure. Yeah, we have a website, Urban Surf for Kids, the number 4, .org. And on our website, you can find out information about who we are, what we do. We do a variety of big events throughout San Diego, and October 12th we have our paddleboard race coming up, which is a really special event for us. And what it does, it allows us to raise some money, some revenue, to help send some kids to Hawaii as part of our program.
Great. Well, you have a great story about Hawaii as it was. You were telling us beforehand. So, tell us more about this and your connection to Hawaii and what have you.
Sure. So 3 or 4 years ago, my family and I, we took a family vacation to Hawaii, and it had been 4 or 5 years since we had been there. And while in Hawaii, I literally had forgotten, how nice it was to be in Hawaii. The people, the water, the mountains, and while we were in Hawaii, I realized, that the kids that we're working with back in San Diego would really never have this opportunity to be able to experience a trip to Hawaii. So what we did when we came back, we created a program, and we set a list of goals that if the kids achieve these series of goals, they would have an opportunity to go on this trip to Hawaii. So last year in December, we took 11 foster youth to Hawaii for a week.
That's fantastic.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of things going on. Urban, not to confuse things, Mr. Urban Miaris over here, does a lot of work with people that don't have that ability to get out and do a lot of those things by themselves. So, it's a wonderful thing. And, you see kids without parents, and they can go so many different directions, right or wrong. And when you're giving them guidance, what's the average age of the kids that you work with?
12 to 16.
That is the exact. I mean, I've got a 14 and a 16-year-old at home. Okay, so maybe you can give them some direction.
Yeah, have them come out.
So anyway, giving kids that don't have those mentors, those parents, the guidance, giving them direction like that is fantastic.
Well, see, here's what a lot of people don't realize is we're either going to pay now or we're going to pay later.
Right.
50% of all foster youth are going to end up homeless. Almost 40% of them are going to end up in prison. As far as the girls, over 40% of them are going to end up as a single mom before the age of 20. So, our hope and goal is to provide a positive outlet, teach them about having healthy outlets through water-based events, and then giving back. Because, this is a demographic in our society that needs a tremendous amount of attention.
How does teaching them to give back and getting them involved in give back activities, how does that translate into a better future for them?
Sure. You know what? I think the biggest thing that it does, it builds self-confidence. And I'll give you an example. We do an event where we go downtown and feed the homeless. And, for a lot of us, that's a simple thing. What we do is we make some lunches and we make a bag and we give it out. But for one of these kids, they get empowered because now they see the value in themselves that they can do something that can help someone else out. So, I think a lot of it is just building self-confidence, believing in yourself that, you're not a number, that you can overcome, your background and your circumstances to go on and do great things.
And no matter what a difficult existence you've had in your life, somebody else might have a worse situation. So that makes you feel that you're also able to, makes them feel, I hope, that they're also able to be a contributor to society themselves. They're not lost.
Yeah. And what we try to share with them is those who have been through the most literally have the most opportunity to give back. Mm-hmm. And, that's our message is really encouraging, inspiring. We've been fortunate to partner with a lot of pro athletes that come to our events and they share that same message. But, once again, these kids need help. They really need healthy outlets. It's amazing. We live in San Diego, and there's so many of these kids that have never been to the beach.
Yeah, wow, you make me think that another great guy to connect you up with is Jimmy Langley, too.
You read my mind.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and a lot of other stuff, so I'll have to work on that. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay, and Urban Miaris, and our guest is Mr. Wesley Stewart from Urban Surf for Kids. I have to go back, and I have a curiosity on this, so please enlighten me. How did you get started in this? Why did this all come about?
Sure. Great question. You know what I mean? Honestly, it starts back when I was a child. Unfortunately, when I was 7, my parents divorced. And I think, as we get older, we get a little bit wiser. And I really see how that impacted me. My parents separated, and it caused a lot of things for me to develop as a child that poured over into my adulthood. So, becoming a dad myself with a daughter that's now 11, I really see the importance of the roles of a parent. And, I look at my life, and I had two awesome parents. Unfortunately, they got divorced, and I see the impact that it had on me. And what that does, it sends a lightning bolt through me when you think about kids that don't have either parent.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Do you, I assume as a nonprofit, you need volunteers. So can we go get our kids and bring them down and help you volunteer with that?
Yeah. That's the whole thing. We have a code of conduct, and on that code of conduct is Ohana. And what we're all about is creating Ohana. And Ohana is a Hawaiian word for family. And so what we always encourage, whether foster kids or not, we want to create a family environment. And so for our volunteers, we totally encourage them to bring their families.
Great.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the event itself coming up.
I was just getting ready for my next shameless plug of the day. So
let's go. Let's talk about that. Tell us about it, Wes.
Yeah, Paddle Fest, October 12th, Bonita Cove, Mission Bay. We are, this is San Diego's premier paddleboard event. And we're really excited. There are a lot of different awesome components to this event. A good friend of mine is in a wheelchair, Charles Webb, and he's going to be leading a non-competitive group paddle, which the entry fee includes a board. And so this is a fun 1 mile
And you can get a wheelchair on a paddleboard.
Yeah, so Charles Webb is the first open water paddleboard racer in the world. And so he's kind of like a little celebrity here in San Diego, a good friend of mine and an ambassador for our program. And so he's going to be leading this part of the event that's going to be, I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Wow. Great. And then there's also that's the Shaka paddle?
Yeah, that's the 1 mile Shaka paddle. That's his nickname. And we have a 6 mile race, 2 mile race. There's the non-competitive group paddle, the Shaka paddle. We have live music. We have on it ability boards. It's going to be demoing a board for those in a wheelchair. So if you know of anyone that's disabled, they can come to the event and get a free demo on a paddleboard.
Wow.
And you know what? I mean, it's worth coming down to the event just to see that. I
think it's That's crazy.
It's going to blow you away.
Wonderful, yeah.
Now, is there a limit to the number of people that can do the 1 mile? Because I would have to do the 1 mile non-competitive.
Right. Well,
I'm just challenged in my athletic ability. Okay, not in like my eyesight or anything. So, but I could stand up on a board and paddle. Right?
Totally, yeah. Paddleboarding, the great thing about paddleboarding is it's a very easy sport to learn. There's not a big learning curve as with surfing.
It's not like the windsurfing that I did when I was young, and I could get out all the way out one way, and then I had to paddle my way back.
It can be rough. It can be rough with the wind.
But it went even worse for you when you tried to sail with Urban one time, right?
Oh, no. When I sailed with Urban, I just sat there and watched.
Got out and stayed out of the way?
Yeah.
Good.
So.
All right.
But tell us, let's get to that website again, and how do we learn more about the event coming up on October 12th?
Sure. The website, urbansurfforkids.org, and then you can go at /PaddleFest, And just a couple more things about the event. We are offering San Diego's free stand-up paddleboard lesson for kids, the largest event in San Diego. We're inviting all kids to get a free stand-up paddleboard lesson at the event. We also have a nonprofit vendors village. Several different nonprofits, including the YMCA, will be there. So, it's a community event. It's a great day on the water, and the money is helping us to send kids to Hawaii. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, and I see you have a raffle coming up here for the boards and the Caribbean vacation and what have you. So
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Hold on, a raffle for a Caribbean vacation?
Yeah,
I'll do the 6-mile paddleboard thing if I get a chance for that.
No, Andrea, you need to stay here and do the radio show with me.
Yeah. Probably.
In dealing with kids and all, on the water is, to me, the most exciting of all the events you could go to. And it's something like paddleboarding and all. Friends and all could join with someone they care about on it. Unlike other athletic events, I'll say, that have a higher degree of risk, and often they're solo. Family members and friends don't want to do it, such as alpine skiing or something like that. It's
we need to encourage Urban to come out and participate, because if he can do 63 miles an hour down a ski slope as a blind person, he can get out there on your paddleboard.
Well, getting out there is not there. How would I get? Do they have tandem paddleboards?
Well, we could figure something out. We'll get you out on the water.
I got to see an eye dog.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll train him.
I'll even let you drive, Urban, okay?
Yeah. But no, you're right, Urban. The water is what it's all about. I tend to think that I'm a good guy and that this program is about me, but it's about the water. Yeah. The water provides the healing power.
Well, so. I've said the healing, the therapy of it. People go to the mountains, they go to the desert, or they go to the water.
Right.
For stress relief and things like that. And there's nothing better than, to me, to do it on the water, especially with kids.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Wesley, we're running short on time. Let's go over that website once again, and any last things you want to leave our listeners with.
Yeah, Urban Surf for Kids, urbansurf4kids.org. October 12th, Paddle Fest, Bonita Cove. It is going to be an amazing event. Live music, free stand-up paddleboard lessons, 6-mile, 2-mile race, the Shaka paddle. It's going to be a great day for the family to come out.
Okay, great.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I appreciate you being down here, and I look forward to seeing what we can do together as we move on.
Look forward to it.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be back right back after the break with Mr. David Morris from Proteus ERP.